So I lived the days before abortion was safe and legal in the United States of America, and I remember the desperation of women, some of them my friends, some of whom had to make really dangerous decisions about how they were going to be able to exercise control over their own bodies and make this most personal decision on their own.
Does the Constitution make any reference to birth control pills?
No, it does not.
So under the Supreme Court's radical far-right opinion, they could give politicians the power to decide who can get birth control pills. Isn't that right?
That is correct.
So under the Supreme Court's radical opinion, these justices could give politicians the power to ban condoms. Isn't that right?
It is possible, yes.
Some women died because they sought these dangerous methods on their own to end a pregnancy. And so let's be clear. Roe v. Wade wasn't the beginning of women having abortions. Oh, no. It was the end of women dying from abortions. Abortion is health care. And when Roe v. Wade finally became the law of the land, women were able finally to control their own bodies. This bill is about freedom. And one of the most precious freedoms that we have is the freedom to travel from state to state in the United States of America. What happens to the woman who is heavily pregnant, who may be going to visit her family in Illinois, where, thank God, abortion is still legal? Are you going to check her out? Is she going to have to prove somehow that she's not going for an abortion? How are you going to force this without going into all the personal history of people who are traveling, women traveling across state lines? This is enough. In the United States of America, the right to travel is sacred. It is protected under the Commerce Clause, and we will not go back. Women will not go back.
A 10-year-old girl got raped in Ohio and got pregnant. She could not get an abortion because none of the exceptions in Ohio law would have authorized it. And what did MAGA Republicans do? They smeared her. They said she was lying. In fact, at least one Republican member of this committee publicly tweeted that she lied and then quietly deleted that tweet when, guess what? Her perpetrator was arrested. I call on any MAGA Republican who smeared this little girl to publicly apologize. But the story gets worse than that, because this little girl had to go to Indiana to get an abortion or abortion care. And guess what MAGA Republicans are doing now? They're going after the doctor. That's right, the doctor who helped this little girl. Because the truth is, MAGA and far-right Republicans want government-mandated pregnancies for everyone, including 10-year-old rape victims. That is extreme. Does the Constitution make any reference to birth control pills?
No, it does not.
So under the Supreme Court's radical far-right opinion, they could give politicians the power to decide who can get birth control pills. Isn't that right?
That is correct.
Yeah. Professor Murray, does the Constitution make any reference to condoms?
No.
So under the Supreme Court's radical opinion, these justices could give politicians the power to ban condoms. Isn't that right?
It is possible, yes.
Under the Supreme Court's radical decision, they could give politicians the right to ban gay marriage. Isn't that right?
Certainly, Justice Thomas invited those challenges and is welcoming the opportunity to revisit those questions by the court.
Thank you. Does the Constitution make any reference to interracial marriage?
It does not.
So under the Supreme Court's radical decision, they could certainly give politicians the right to decide whether or not to ban interracial marriage. Isn't that right?
That is the invitation that has been made.
You know what the Constitution does make reference to, by the way? A well-regulated militia. I hope the Supreme Court actually looks at that phrase and actually adheres to it. But that's another matter.